Heyo, Mihao here, making another video, as always. Alright, I checked YouTube and I haven't seen much, so here's a guide, a basic guide basically, on how to play Cossacks 2, because apparently a lot of people I think seem to want to have one of these. So here's a basic one. It's gonna go everywhere, you know. I didn't make a script, so it's just random. But, you know, I did the best I could, and I hope y'all enjoy and watch. Thank you. First things first, let's talk about the economy. First is the peasant economy, highlighted here. Wood and stone. This is what your peasants collect and bring back to town centers and warehouses. Alright, and then the next one is the village economy. It is food, gold, iron, and coal, and if you run out of food, troops die. No iron, can't make troops. No coal, no ammo. Gold is for upgrades and advanced units. Then you got your population, and then you got your peasants, which you normally start out with 10 on most maps. And then you got your mini map in the bottom right corner. Alright, let's start off by building the town hall, and then they're going to build it. Then we're also going to build the barracks for the starting. And what I prefer to do is build the warehouse right next to the food village, because that way, you know, it's more efficient. You get your food faster. And then over here you have your policeman units that defend the villages during like 30 groups. Pretty easy to defeat, but you can. That's how they defend villages. And then for like unit compositions, we have the musketeers, Highlander, got the grenadier, we got the officer, the drummer, standard bearer, we got the chasseurs and all that. Variety of units to choose from. Alright, and that's basically how you start off a match, just to show you an example how it should be done. Alright, now what we're going to talk about is that the formation. To make a formation, you need at least 120 of the soldiers, 15 for chasseurs, 45 for cavalry, and they're slowly coming out of the building right now. But on the top left corner, it'll tell you how much you need for the formations. But when you have enough, just the unit regiment will show up like this, watch. And there, they should show up any moment, and there they are. You just click it, they form up. You have them, you can move them around, they're all ready to go. Alright, now you got a formation. Let's talk about how what formations are doing. So we got line formation, which is really easy to shoot. There's column formation, and then there's square formation. And with the line formation, you can tell them to shoot in line, like different orders. Here over here you have melee attack on where I pointed. You also have all these different formations. For instance, like the column formation, if they're marching, they can march on walls. And then you also have hold ground stance, which is really useful after it gives certain defense. It's on the button here, it shows you when it charges up. Alright, now when the unit's in column formation and they go along a road, they take no fatigue when they're using the roads. For instance, if I tell them to march right here, yeah, they'll use the road. And they travel much more faster than what they normally would. So yeah, as you can see, they're going along the road perfectly fine. Alright, let's talk about now trees. So let's tell this unit to advance up, and we'll open fire on these grenadiers. But you'll probably see that it won't show much, but none of these shots are gonna hit. Like, you don't see the damage markers. It's because they're hitting the trees. The trees are just providing good defense, and so it didn't even hit any of the soldiers that we shot at. Alright, and let's talk about cavalry. How you're not supposed to just send them up front first. They usually die real quick to infantry. They're mainly used for support, but heavy cavalry are better suited to be frontal attacking because they have more HP to absorb shots. For instance, the Hussars right now are gonna win because they're actually meant to fight on frontal fights. Like those dragoons on the bottom got really defeated in their attack.
We've crushed the enemy squad.
And this is some examples of better cav combat.
Our squad fell in battle. Fire! Shoot! Our homeland will not be disgraced.
Let's talk about cannons. You got heavy cannons, light cannons, and howitzers, and then they show you the area, and then they also have buckshots, only for light and heavy cannons. Now let's have them engage each other.
Our gun is neutralized. Enemy gun destroyed. We have lost our gun crew. Run for your lives! Volley!
Alright, and that battle is pretty much wrapped up.
Turn back! Flee!
Alright, to capture a village, just have your troops eliminate all other units in the area, or the guards defending, or the village towns defenders. And then on top of that, villages heal only infantry troops, and they can heal over your population limit. Okay, and then when a unit routes, like their soldiers scatter everywhere routing, any other formations they route through, like the soldiers go through, they will get morale loss. So as these guys are running away, these Prussian musketeers are gonna slowly lose morale, as I'm showing down over here below their health bar. Alright, let's shoot a little bit more and see. They're losing morale. Even though they're not taking damage, but they're losing morale because their soldiers are routing right through them. Yeah, look at that. That unit's losing almost all their morale. And low morale units will, like 10 soldiers will run away. And they'll try to go away. Alright, and then units get experience, like formations get experience. The more experience they have, they can become guards units. Guards units have high morale, and their melee damage is increased. Their rifle damage is not increased, but their melee damage. Certain units gain bonus defenses, but it's not very much of them. Alright, I'm going to talk about the factions. Britain is obviously the weakest. Their musketeers start off pretty weak. They use a lot of ammo. Their Highlanders use gold for units. Not a variety choice in like units because it's either Dragoon or Hussars. they only have one heavy cavalry, and you're mainly going to be running Highlanders because that's the only efficient unit, because the Musketeers use up 1500 coal compared to other units which use 600 or even 300, which is pretty crazy.
Sir, call a halt!
We got Spain, even less options. They have the Musketeers, the British Musketeers, which, you know, high coal consumption, but then they can go to guerrillas. They're pretty good, except they cannot be modified by officer staff, so they're completely useless at high game, like high end or high tier level combat. Alright, next up is we have Austria. They have the Landweirs, I can't even say anything right, Fusiliers, and then your Bordersman, and then the Grenadiers and all that. But your Bordersman is what you want more, or quickly, because Austria has this thing of losing morale really quickly. So you're going to be running Bordersman or Chasseurs as your backup, because these units are extremely morale deficient. I don't know the correct word, but they start off with their morale really low, with like a 65, I believe, compared to like 85 and hundreds compared to other units and formations. You have Prussia with the mixed Black Corps, which is like mixed between Fusilier and Vortigers. Less effective, but they're pretty good. And then the Rhine faction is just better. It's basically Austria better because they actually start with good morale. And they have benefits on that they have upgrades to their warehouse to increase wood collecting and stone collecting. Pretty good, so it's better than Austria, I would say that. And Russia has the Home Guard, which are soldiers with sticks. They got musketeers. They have the grenadiers. They don't have Vortigers, so like any type of like ranged infantry. But they have chasseurs. But they do have pioneers with pistols. The pistols are pretty good. It's a double shot before they have to reload, and they're basically engineers, pretty good engineers. However, you got your normal, regular units for the cavalry, but Russia has an extra unit called the Don Cossacks, and the Hussars. But the Don Cossacks are pretty good because they're your regular Lancer cavalry, but they come with rifles. Like, watch, I'll show you. See, they come with rifles, which is pretty cool actually. Very effective, go up and close with Lancers and then use rifles. And then Poland's your typical. There's similar to France. They have units close to France, but they're only missing chasseurs. And if we go into the heavy, there's like 2 heavy cavalry, and then they just have the regular 3 normal cavalry. Not very special, but good enough. Alright, let's talk about the most broken faction. Egypt. They got the warriors, which are really hard to shoot, hard to kill. They don't lose fatigue. You got the Revolutionary, don't use much coal to shoot. You got the archers that don't even use ammo and they don't fatigue much. They got like their special chasseur units, which is up to 30. But the archers just don't use ammo. They got some pretty good guard units, and you can upgrade the warriors with your melee and their cavalry. Their cavalry trains super fast. Even though they get like one fortresses, like it costs a lot to build them, but their cavalry trains super fast. And look at that, just super fast. Pretty cool, pretty amazing. Okay, now watch as these warriors take on 2 full regiments of British musketeers.
The enemy is not.
Alright, that's like at the end this is the end of the video. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.
The enemy scatters in terror. Ready to serve. Awaiting your orders. At your faithful service.